Hey guys, this is Devin from 9feetunder, and today we're going to be doing a tag video. I was originally going to do like a Q&A, but we only had two people ask questions. My friend Logan from Instagram, James Ray Fox, and also BJD Craze also had a question as well. And I'm going to answer hers last because it was specifically about lyric. And I'm going to answer the others, which were he was interested in basically like a general character information. So I'm going to go ahead and do the story time tag by Kohaku Creations. Let's see. Number one on here is, what genre is your BJD story? Genre. I'm trying to think of like, what genre would you say, Bowie, it is? Because I mean, I haven't really thought about that, to be honest. I suppose there's horror and sci-fi elements, comedic elements. I mean, it's I'm really not sure. Horror, drama, probably. Let me see. Number two, are your characters based off of real people? Some of them are, not all of them. I'm going to go in depth with that in a later video as far as the individual character bios and like story inspiration, things of that nature. That way I can have that more like laid out. Let me see. Number three, which character do you most relate to? Well, whenever I get my mini-me, it will obviously be that one. But, character do I most relate to? I mean, I feel like I identify with a lot, if not all of them, in certain ways. But, I don't know, it's more just like creative expression. So, I mean, technically, all of your dolls can be aspects of you or aspects of things, you know. It depends on how you want to make it. I don't necessarily personally identify with any of them. But yeah. Number four, which character's bio is the hardest to work on? Some of them are still in progress. I would have to say Hannibel's a wild card because we didn't even know we were going to get her. So we don't have like a character story already laid out for her or a whole lot of information. Just what we've started coming up with. She's new this year and we didn't even know we would get her. Let me see. Number five, did you have to research anything in particular for your story? Okay, anime Google search. On occasion, I have to do Google searches to make sure that I have like if I'm looking for like a piece that's from like a different culture or from a different thing, I'll have to like do research to make sure that everything is, you know, accurate like that. I mean, I think everyone has to use Google searches whenever they're doing research for character creation and like just different little pieces of information. It's kind of a very vague question. So I'm not exactly sure how to answer it. Number six, where does your story take place? An actual place or made up world? Still determining what the exact city location is because there's a few we're debating between, but it's starting out in America. Lyric had just come over from Norway, and the majority of it is going to be set in America, so that's where they're going to go on tour. A lot of the props I'm going to be able to find are American, so it's going to be hard to get, like, if I were to set it in another country, I'd have to have like a whole nother thing to make sure everything was accurate from that country, and I think that would just be a little bit too complicated, to be honest, to put it elsewhere. Let me see. Number seven, does your story have a bad boy / girl? I would venture to say that none of them are innocent. I mean, they all have their own little personality quirks and stuff. None of them are really like an aloof, completely like innocent or character. So yeah, they all technically have, you know, the bad boy streak or whatever, I guess. I don't know. Oh, number 8. Are there couples in your story or love interests? Right now, the only one we have set in stone is Jack and Nine are together. We did tease in a photo story earlier, Lyric and Tragedy, but we're still not sure exactly who we want to put with whom until we get all of our dolls. We have 2 more on the way, and then mine. So, yeah, I mean, obviously, since me and Bowie are together, my doll and Bowie's doll, Hexus, would probably be together, I guess. Yeah, we haven't really thought out, you know, in-depth relationship stuff other than that. Let me see. Number 9, story before doll or doll before story. All of them have been story before doll except for Hannibal, which is doll before story. Number 10, whose story influenced you to write your story or to join the hobby? Well, I mean, we've already had, you know, our own story ideas and stuff like that before we even knew the dolls existed. So it was probably so I'll have to answer the who inspired you to like join the hobby. We had watched a lot of videos on YouTube. We watched a lot of Swan's videos because she had a whole lot of tutorials on how to make things and do face-ups and a lot of stuff like that. And being her stuff was, I liked her dolls. They're really interesting. Like Asher has like a whole like skull face and everything. So I think that was what actually made me interested in, you know, all the technical aspects, because we were like, oh, we really like these dolls, but they're really expensive. And it was kind of like this, like, oh, maybe someday we'll get like a doll or something. But yeah, when we realized that like it was something you could actually do, and all of our like creative artistic talents, we could pretty much, and learn new ones, put all together. And so it's a kind of hobby to where if you get bored making one sort of thing, you can start making other things. And different people in the hobby make different things. So if you don't particularly like doing one thing, you can buy those things from another person if you don't want to make them, and vice versa, all that jazz. So yeah, I like how customizable everything is. Let me see. But yeah, it was probably Swans is the only like name I can actually say that. I had watched a few. I watched other people's videos. I had seen some of Kohaku's videos. Kiwi Nomori. Let me see. Number 10 or number 11. Whose crew would you cross over with? I've never really given that thought because I don't really do role playing or anything. I just don't have time or really interest in collaborating with other artists in that way, because I'm too busy focusing on making, and we're too busy focusing on making sure our stories are like fleshed out and everything. So we haven't even really thought about branching off into like possibly doing a collab with anyone or a story crossover. So I don't know. I'd really have to think about that. Number 12. How much did you enjoy making or writing your story? Well, it's a lot of fun, but it's also a lot of hard work and can be very stressful and irritating at times. So yeah, it's mostly fun. But yeah, and it's always a work in progress. Okay, and in so that it ends the storytime tag. And then I'm going to answer, since I think that answered Logan's questions. And BJD Craze sent me a question. They were interested, they had watched the one where we opened the DJ set for tragedy, and she was interested in, she was asking who Lyric was. I wanted to know about his sculpt body, and if we made the wig or if it was purchased. I made his wig. It is all packed, and I'm just going to get him out so that you can see him. Okay, I have to find where I'm at with close to the camera. He is the Studio Nico Sanzo head. Hold on, I'm trying to get him. Face the camera. The lighting here isn't exactly fantastic, but yeah, he's the Studio Nico Sanzo. There are better pictures of him on Instagram, because his hair's not wanting to cooperate right this second. But and he is on the Dalitz DAD body. That we initially got it with a Dalitz Ray for Jack a while back, and he ended up, it was a perfect color match for the normal skin, for Studio Nico's normal skin, so we figured it was perfect, and he looks proportionate on it. So yeah, it's the 68 centimeter Dalitz DAD body. Yeah, like I said earlier, we'll do a more in-depth character bio video later. That way I can kind of have those compartmentalized, and I can get everything organized for that. Let's see, I don't think, yeah, I think that was all the questions. Once again, if you guys ever have any questions, feel free to leave them down in the comments. We're always looking for new ideas for videos. If you have any like tag lists or doll tag ideas, please let me know. We're always looking for new ideas. So, see you later, guys.